If you're 16, 17, 18, 19 years old and you're thinking about going to college, stop. Watch this video before you do, because there's something I think you'd like to learn. I'm 22 years old, I've built my own path for myself, I became an entrepreneur, and I didn't need college to do it. Let me tell you exactly what I wish someone would have told me before I made that decision. Most people choose college because it's the safe thing to do, but with $100,000 in debt and no job lined up in 2025, how safe really is it?
13th, the wealth of the average.
Then there's all credit card debt in America. So for the last decade, I've been traveling this country talking to.
Now look, I'm not here to bash college. I went to college myself, and I think college is a great thing for most people. But what I'm here to do is give you the real questions you should be asking yourself before making a decision here in 2025. Here's the truth. College works if you know what you want to do. For example, becoming a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, a nurse, or you have a specific practice that you want to do in life and that's what you want to pursue. But if you're going in blind, don't know what to do, college does not work. If you're going into college blind, not knowing what to do, hoping it's just for the college experience, you might just be paying to delay real life. Now, I'm a 22-year-old entrepreneur. I went to college myself, but personally, I decided to choose entrepreneurship at the end of the day because that's what I personally love to do. I love to be able to scale businesses, and myself at 22 years old has built multiple seven-figure businesses from nothing. I personally don't come from any money whatsoever inside of my family. And so when I left college, all I had to my name was $100. And what I decided to do was to flip that $100 every single day of my life. And so what I'd do is I'd go on Craigslist and I'd go on Facebook and I'd flip electronics. So I'd take $100, I'd buy an Xbox and I'd sell for $200. I did that multiple times a day and eventually led to me having a few $1,000s where I can go buy my first flip car. I ended up buying Toyotas and Jeeps and different cars to be able to go flip. And for the next 6 months, I flipped as many cars as I humanly could so I could just earn as much cash so I could put that back into a working business that worked for me. 8 months later, I had enough money to be able to start my own business, Showcar, out of my townhome garage. And it started with just detailing, which is insane because nowadays we have paint protection film, window tinting, vinyl wrapping, and much more. And now I actually franchised out the business, so I don't even own any of my own locations. All I do is collect royalties. Now I'm franchising around the nation, and I've also created a marketing company to work alongside with it to make sure that Showcar has the best marketing out of all of the competition, and that marketing company is called Social Refresh. Everything from Google Ads to Meta Ads to landing pages to lead forms, and I created that business all from nothing as well. I created it on the backbone of Showcar, giving Showcar an extra pillar to be able to make sure it stands out from the rest of the competition. Now, at the end of the day, I didn't get lucky. I didn't have a huge loan from someone. All I had was myself and my hard work, and I asked myself the questions before I continued college. Now, I didn't get lucky. I didn't have a small loan of $1 million, but what I did have is hard work and persistence, and I also asked myself these questions that you're gonna be asking yourself today. Anyone can do this, guys, including you, and it doesn't have to be entrepreneurship. It can be any single thing that you guys want. You guys wanna become a doctor, a lawyer, an artist, an engineer, any single thing that you wanna do, you can do it. Now, these are the questions that most people skip, especially when they're choosing if they should go to college or not. The first one is simply just thinking ahead. Where do you want your life to look like in the next 5 years? This is a simple one. I personally wanted freedom. I wanted to create a business, and I knew that college wasn't gonna create a business for me. I knew I had to go do it myself, learn through trial and error, and figure out how to solve problems. Because really, when you're running a business, unlike going and working for someone, you're not handed a handbook. You have to figure it out on your own. And so that's one of the things I had to figure out, especially when I was in the middle of college. It was one of the hardest things I had to do. Now, when I was in college, I was studying business and macroeconomics, and obviously I learned a ton about money, and I think the only way to become an entrepreneur is to learn about money, macroeconomic trends, and obviously interest rates, and learning every single thing you can about the economy and how money works. But in my opinion, that was the only thing I really got out of college. And the second one comes down to following. Most people do what everybody else is doing. And so a question you have to ask yourself is this path really for you, or is it just the most common one that everyone makes? Obviously, most people want to go to college for the college experience, and obviously the fear of missing out. Everybody wants to go to be able to have the college lifestyle, the parties, the drinking, or whatever they want to do to be able to go have fun. That's their idea of college. But they really don't think about the consequences because what they're really doing is just financing all of their partying, which sounds insane. Obviously, if they're in college, they're working towards a degree, but most people just want to pass their classes so they can go party and be able to have that college lifestyle that they always dream. Now, is there something else that you could possibly do? Is there an online course or a trade or an internship that you could take on yourself before you go into college full time? Maybe for that first year, just so you can get some type of real world experience before you go into that college debt, because obviously it is a very, very big commitment, but if you know what you want to do, then it's going to be the best commitment of your life. And so an internship internship or a trade or an online course can really teach you about what you want to do, because maybe you do a trade or an internship in the career path that you want to go down and it's not exactly what you're looking for. This is really going to help you take a step back and realize what you truly want to do in life, because high school doesn't really open you up to everything you want to do. It doesn't really show you what real life is like, and it doesn't really show you how these careers function, because you just may not like it. Now, the most important thing you should ask yourself before you go to college is if you know anyone who's actually already done that career path themselves or have started that business themselves, and asking them what path they took themselves and if they do recommend college. Now, I personally use mentors myself. I have a ton of mentors and a ton of friends who are actually doing what I want to do, but obviously they've been doing it for a lot longer than me. And so I always ask them questions, how they got there and how they would do it and what mistakes they made along the way. And so you can always go find someone who's already done the same career path that you want to go in and just ask them those common questions, because it's really going to lead you to if college is really worth it for that career path or not. Now, I know a lot of my viewers are obviously younger. They're 16, 17, 18, 19 years old. Maybe there's some of you guys in college, but the world has changed. We are in a new era, and it's crazy because I have friends who are graduating and they have a 4.0 GPA when they're coming out of college, and they're stuck making $16 an hour at a regular job. They're not in the career path they want to join because the jobs in their career path are not even available. And so they're paying tens of thousands of dollars, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars on the student debt, and they have nothing to prove for it except for a piece of paper and a job that's paying them nothing. Now, obviously, that's not fun for them, but if you're not in college yet, you can ask yourself these common questions to make sure you are going down the right path yourself, and you just start analyzing it before you make the decision of going into all this debt that doesn't even pay for anything. Because at the end of the day, if you're stuck making $16 an hour or $20 an hour coming out of student loan debts, you still have to pay back those debts. It's not like they're just gone or they're just not relevant. You have to pay them back, and people don't realize that. They just think it's just fake money, and they don't have to pay it. You gotta pay it. Now, I'm gonna go to my personal story about college because I didn't really hit on that, and I think you guys should really see what college was like for me. Now, I started college through a concurrent enrollment plan back in my high school. I was 15 years old, I took a bunch of tests, and I pretty much was able to pass into some college classes so I could study business and macroeconomics, and the best part was, my high school was paying for it. And so if someone's paying for your college or high school is paying for your college or whatever, you get some type of scholarship, go do it. But it's really the issue when people take on all this debt and they can't get a job to be able to actually pay for the debt, and then it just becomes a huge crumbling mess. Now, I took college classes from the time I was 16 to 18 years old. I was about a year and a half into college at that point, and what I realized was that college was just not the best fit for me. At that point, I was gonna have to start paying for college once I turned 18, and I just pretty much took all of that money I was gonna spend on tuition, and I decided to just start a business, which obviously all I had was $100. So I was either gonna take out debt or I was gonna figure out a way to be able to pay for these tuition fees, but I just knew I didn't wanna pay for them. Now, I'm gonna be honest, guys, when I left college, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. All I knew that I could just create a business, and if I fail, I fail. I just have to learn from it. And you know what? I did fail. I doubted myself every single day, and I failed probably more than most people realize, and especially on social media, because everybody thinks that it's all glitz and glamour and all I did was succeed, but I failed over and over and over again. I lost tons of money, probably more money than I would have lost just going to college. But what it did teach me is all about failures and how to overcome them. But now I have real world knowledge. I have no debt when it comes down to my student loans, and I'm waking up every single day building something that I enjoy. So when I left college, yes, I self-doubted myself, and everybody will, including you who's watching this video right now. But that shouldn't keep you from doing it. Most people think, oh, well, I can't do this, or I'm gonna fail. You are gonna fail. You're gonna fail miserably. You're gonna fail over and over and over again. And you're not gonna stop failing until you die. And that's just the hard truth, and most people don't realize that. So you have to get up, you have to take risk, and you have to realize that failure is going to happen, but it's all about how you overcome failure. Now, there's millions of dollars to be made in this economy. Whether you become an entrepreneur, or you become a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, or any career path that you want to go down. But the first action is actually taking action. Because most people, they procrastinate, and what they do is they never take action on the things that they truly want to do. And what it leads to is analysis paralysis, and people get stuck, and they try to overplan. And they don't realize the most important thing in anything you do in life is just taking action. And that's the only reason why I'm here today at 22, and people think it's some type of crazy story, or I had daddy's money, or I had, someone backing me or whatever. That's all nonsense. Because all I did every single day was take action, and I never procrastinated anything within my business. Something needed to get done, I got it done, even if I failed at it. Even if I tried over and over again to become successful, all I did was just keep going. Because at the end of the day, the only thing that you could do every single day is just take action and get 1% better every single day. That's all you can do. Even if you fail, you still learn from it. And people don't realize that. So if you're thinking about college, think deeper. Realize that college is not for everybody. But at the same time, college is also an amazing asset for a lot of people who want to go down a specific career path. Like I said, doctor, lawyer, engineer, nurse, anything that has a specific career path that you know that you want to go down. Don't just follow the herd, because just because someone else goes to college doesn't mean it's the right fit for you. You have to ask yourself the common questions before you go to college, and especially before you sign some student loan docs, because you don't want to have to pay those back if you're not making any money. The one thing about being young, and most people don't realize this, is you have time. You are wealthy in time. And most people who are older and have a ton of money, they would trade out your time for their money any day. So don't go trade your future for 6, 7, 8 years, or even your whole lifetime for a paper that you didn't even need. Now I'm 22. I skipped college, but you know what? I'm just getting started. So if you guys like this video, please comment down below. And obviously, let me know your guys' situation down in the comment section. If you went to college and took on a bunch of debt, let me know down below where you're at right now in life. And obviously, if you've already been to college, give tips down below as well. Now, this isn't usually my regular content, but it was just something that a lot of people ask me about. I do post a ton of my business content on this page, day in the lives, obviously advice on business and just how it is being an entrepreneur. So if you guys want to subscribe, go watch the rest of my videos and just dive deep into what it's like being an entrepreneur. But if you guys like this video, comment down below, like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.